One of the most common questions that I get asked almost every single day is, bro, how do you become that guy? How do you become confident? How do you become the guy that guys respect? The guy that guys want to be? The guy that girls want to be with? How do you become him? And the answer that I give people often isn't the one that they're looking for. With the guys that I coach and I work with one-to-one, this is something that we touch on where they ask me. They say, I have an idea of who I want to be. I can fully picture him. I can imagine that. I can imagine the lifestyle that I'm going to have. How he walks, talks, dresses. And my response is always, well, if you can imagine who that guy is, what he looks like, his exact characteristics, then what is stopping you from becoming that man? And this is going to sound like some wishy-washy hippie bullshit, but quite literally the only thing stopping you from achieving what you want to achieve and becoming the guy that you want to be is yourself. To give you a little bit of backstory, when I was younger, I was massively introverted, and this is why I don't believe when people say you're born introverted or extroverted. I think it depends on the circumstances. I think you will lean towards one end of the spectrum, but for me, I was an introvert. I'm now more extroverted, but going through school, sixth form, uni, I was very introverted. I was quite shy. I was not one of these very loud people that had a massive friendship group that was always going out, doing things, partying. I certainly did that, just not to the extent that a lot of kids will have done it. And because I wasn't doing these things, because I was so introverted, I kept myself to myself. I was the last person in class. I was the first person to leave every single time. I observed things. I observed everybody. I observed the way they talk, the way they act, the way they carry themselves, the way they dress. And this is quite literally the reason why I am good at what I am good at, and the reason why I am who I am, because I trained myself to become so observant. And why did this benefit me? Because I was able to look at the exact, because I was able to pick out the exact characteristics and traits that I want in myself. So I was very self-aware. I was very aware of what I had and what I didn't have. I knew I was in good shape. I knew I was able to carry myself a certain way. Despite being very shy and awkward, I could walk like I was confident. I could walk like I was somebody. That was fine. It was only when it came to the communication, eye contact, how I was coming across, generally the micro interactions. Those were the things that I struggled with the most, because having not had many friends, I didn't know how to act. So for years and years, I observed people. I watched friends talk with each other. I watched them eat. I watched the way they sat, the way they laughed, the way they introduced themselves, the way they shook each other's hands. And this sounds autistic as fuck, because it is, but this was the reason why I was able to become who I wanted to be so fast. What I'm about to teach you is quite literally a hack to get to the person you want to be, get to wherever it is you want to be 100 times faster. So after years of observing people, in my head I had a pretty strong idea of the person I wanted to be. I'd taken characteristics from this guy, maybe from this girl, from this teacher, from this lecturer, and I put them all together and I thought, wow, I really admire them. I really admire the way they do this thing. I really admire the way they're able to articulate themselves or communicate, the way they're able to hold eye contact. And every single day I started to visualize and picture and imagine this person I wanted to be. When I say visualize, I mean I became obsessive over the thought of the person that I wanted to be. Every day I was daydreaming. Every day, no matter where I was, walking to class, in the gym, going for a run, driving, being a passenger, in bed before I go to sleep, I was envisioning who I wanted to be and how I was going to get that. I was envisioning exactly who I wanted to be. And why is this relevant? Well, because I was able to exactly imagine the guy that I wanted to become. I could then create the exact roadmap, the exact plan to reaching and becoming that person. And now for me, this wasn't actually a quick process, because I dragged my feet. I was lazy. I planned and planned and planned, but I never did anything other than that. I didn't action anything. I have journals around me. I have books around me that I have filled with notes of me writing who I want to be, who I want to become, the lifestyle I want, how much money I want to make, the girl I want to have, all this shit. But I never did anything to actually work towards that, even though I had such a strong image in my brain of who it was that I wanted to be. And I did this for a few more years. Fast forward to 2021, I still have this idea of who it was I wanted to be, but yet I'd done nothing to work towards that. It wasn't until I started making social media content, TikTok videos, YouTube videos, that I was able to start becoming the person that I actually wanted to be. And how did I do that? By scrutinizing every single thing that I did every day. Every single interaction, every conversation, every video that I'd watch back, every time I'd leave the house, I would rewatch that scenario in my head and think, why did I do this way? How could I come across better? How could I seem more confident? How could I seem more masculine? And I would literally go into every single next interaction knowing what I was going to say, knowing how I was going to act. And you might say that sounds ridiculous, you sound like a robot. Why would anybody ever do that? But what do you do in the gym? You do hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of repetitions over the course of years and years, and it builds that muscle. Doing hundreds and thousands of repetitions of having the same conversation, acting a certain way, the end result is you are going to be a certain man, a certain guy you want to be. Point of the video is, if you can imagine the person you want to be, if you can start to write down the characteristics, the traits, the way he talks, walks, acts, the way he looks somebody in the eye, if you can do those things, you can quite literally become that guy. But it takes a level of self-awareness. You have to start observing yourself, almost looking at yourself from a third person in every interaction, thinking about what you could do better, what you've done wrong, why you came across like a simp, why you came across awkward. If you can do that and actually understand how it is to get from point A to point B, then in a very short space of time, you can become the person you want. And let me tell you, once you become that man that you want to be, that is when the success follows. People have this idea in their head that they'll become successful and then become the guy they want to be. or they'll make money and then become the guy they want to be. They've got it the wrong way around. You do not make money or become successful until you are the guy that you want to be. This guy that you picture, whoever you idolize or look up to, it took them years to build their character, which is then what brought them the success and the money they wanted. You must do the same thing, only I've now given you a cheat code to get there far, far faster. And of course, you don't have to listen to what I say. You could do whatever the fuck you want to do, but trust me, it will take you years of figuring this shit out to actually get there, when you could just listen to me. And if all that sounds great and you're even more enthusiastic and you want to get there even faster, then you can apply to work with me one-on-one, and we will get you to, and I will turn you into that guy. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, check out the links in my bio. I've got some things in there you might enjoy. I've got a free guide that you probably should read if you want to become that guy. It's an attraction guide to become the most attractive version of yourself. Follow me on all my socials, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. If you're on my YouTube channel, you've probably already seen that stuff. Check out my other videos, and yeah, until the next one, boys, bye bye.